Dr. Iván Martén joins me now from the Boston Consulting Group. You're looking at the energy practice, and of course these outlooks of great interest to you. But how important is it that you actually come here to this symposium and really flesh out both of them together, both of the outlooks?
I think it's extremely important because we need to understand where the war is heading, and we need to see which are the different assumptions that different parties from the consumer parts or from the producers are making in order to define the future. But for me, the most important thing is not the actual predictions, because it's very difficult to predict in the energy sector because of all the technology changes, the regulations, the government's influence. The more important thing is to understand the drivers, both of demand and supply, and as a consequence of that, define which are the early warning signals that will allow us to understand where the future is going to be.
Now, this is the 7th symposium, and you've attended in the past too. Do you see this actually growing in importance and relevance and meaning? And again, what's the role of the International Energy Forum? How important is that to actually facilitate this symposium?
I think the International Energy Forum is playing a fantastic role because it's in the middle of two areas, the producers and the consumers, and they can play a very, I would say, independent role in trying to put together the different views and try to convene. What I have seen in the last years is that the forum is getting more and more importance, that the level of attendance and the number of participants is increasing and is becoming the place to be every year.
Indeed, we are noticing it's becoming a very global event, and we have a lot of people, representatives from governments, from the analyst community, the policymakers. It really has attracted a global audience, and I think we're beginning to see that come to play too in the last few years. But again, it's such an important issue, I think, and the uncertainty and the volatility, it grows, I think, every year.
Yes, and one important role that I understand the IEF can play in the future is having much more external presence, because there is a lot of misinformation and misunderstanding in the society about the oil and gas sector. And I think that the IEF can play a big role in trying to educate the society about which are the challenges and which are the most adequate solutions for the issues that we are facing right now.
Now, in this symposium, what was some of maybe the highlights for you? What was the key interesting when you looked at the program too, in terms of what did you take away from it?
I mean, I take away first, as I said before, that predicting is extremely difficult, and therefore we should not put too much emphasis on the predictions. We should put emphasis on understanding the drivers. Second thing, I think that one thing that was also very important today is that there is this debate around peak oil or peak demand from oil is not the real debate. The real debate is much more about how we can see the different uses of oil in the future, and we saw that there is a potential demand that can be a game changer, who is petrochemicals and oil-based products. And I think that's in a situation where many people still believe that we can live in a world without oil and gas. Reality is that more and more we are using in our daily lives products that are made out of oil and gas, that are based on chemicals, on plastics, and this is an increasing demand for such a product going forward. So probably the debate around peak oil demand will be a debate that will be postponed or will happen much later in the time frame.
And again, perhaps on the downstream, is this something that you would like discussed further and maybe discussed in more detail?
Yes, I think that we should discuss not only, demand and supply balance, but we should also discuss the implications in downstream, the implications in other sectors of what's going on in terms of climate change challenges, and also in evolution of demand going forward.
Super. Well, we'll keep an eye on, see what's on the next agenda. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.